What's up, y'all? I'm in a different location now. I'm in location 0052. Recording from a cellular device. Um, uh, some paperwork out, stuff I'll do later. I just don't understand. I don't even know where to start. First of all, how are you all doing? Doing good? Great. Awesome. I know it's been a while. Life has just been kind of funny, actually. You know. I just got some questions and some things I've been thinking about. I just don't get it. Why we as humans, why do we have to work paycheck to paycheck and be broke all the time? I don't get that. Don't make sense to me. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why in the world do we have to sit here and just work paycheck to paycheck and just be miserable? You know, I started to figure out that income taxes is a joke. It's actually a scam. I found out it's a scam. It hit me because when I had needed some money at some point in my life, so I dug into my retirement, and I know there's a penalty for it. Yada 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 yada. I know. I pulled about 4 grand out of my retirement, right? So I put it in my account, and they were talking about you're gonna have to pay taxes on that money because you got to claim that as income. I was like, oh, don't worry, they already taxed me for it. When they put it in my retirement, they already taxed the money. You ain't got to worry about it. They said no. If you taking that, you got to claim that as income. I was like, I don't understand. He was like, you have to claim that as income. I was like, it's been taxed already. You can't. I told him, I said, you can't tax the same amount of money twice. You can't do that. If it was put into my account and they taxed it before it went into my retirement, when I pull it out and put it in my account, you can't tax me a second time. He said, well, sir, that's the law. I said, that's unconstitutional. You can't do that. He said, but sir, you have to claim it as income. I said, how can you tax me for my own money? That's like you get your check cashed and they charge you a fee to cash your own check. Well, some places do. You go to ATM, you have a $400, $500, $600 check. They charge you $3 as a service fee. That's tax. They don't want to say that they taxing you, but that a service fee they taxing you. In so many words, they taxing you. So why would any American say that that's okay? Why? Why would any American say that's okay? Because I don't think that was right. If I paid taxes on it the first time, why would I pay taxes on it again? That makes no sense. It's like you go and get something on layaway, right? Just keep the numbers simple. Let's say you had $100, right? Or let's say it was something you wanted that was $100, and let's say you put $50 on it, right? That's just like you saying, okay, I'm coming up here with another $50 to get the rest of my stuff, and you do it later, a few days later. Why in the blueberry biscuit? I was gonna say something. Why in the why in the crap would you pay another $50? Well, why would you pay $100 on something you've already spent? You know what I'm saying? Like for example, it's something like, I don't know if you got what I was saying. Like I'm kind of talking a lot. I'm sorry. Uh, you have something that costs $100, and you put 50 on it, right? And you come like a month later and you put another 50 on it, and you come in to get your product, and they tell you, no, you owe us $100. It's like, I already paid you 50 the first time, and they said, no, that wasn't valid. You got to pay us that 50 again. I was like, I'm not doing that. No, that's robbery. You know. I'm sorry, it's a little parched. I don't understand. That don't make no damn sense. I'm sorry. That's just stupid. I don't know how in the hell you get away with that. That is just no. That. Mm-mm. Negative. No. I don't understand that. That is just got to be the most dumbest crap I've ever heard in my life. You're gonna charge me twice. You're gonna charge me for my money twice. That don't make sense. Mm-mm. When you win the lottery, they still got to take taxes out of that money. Why? Oh, because you got to pay the government. Why? Do you not know how that money gets there? You've already paid taxes on that money. Why do I got to tax it again? Look, check it out. I'm going to break this down for you. Do you not know the money that makes the mega millions is basically the money that you use to buy the scratch tickets in the first place? And guess what? If you have to pay taxes on those scratch tickets, they've already paid the taxes on it already. So why in the hell when you win the lottery you have to pay taxes again if you've been buying, let's say you've been buying tickets for the whole year, you bought about 400 500 some tickets, and you pay taxes and stuff and all that stuff already. Why in the hell if you were to win, why would you have to pay taxes a second time? That makes no sense. That don't make sense. That don't make no. That's not right. I don't get that. Another thing, I made videos about this before, but people didn't like it because they thought I was stupid. But just think about this stuff for a second. You work a job, right? You work 40 hours a week. Why in the world do you owe the government for you working? What services are they providing you? I can see taxes on food. I can see taxes on fuel. I can see taxes on stuff like that because fuel, they have to make the fuel for you to use it. So I can see the taxes on that. Um, uh, Food, I can see the taxes on that because farmers have to get paid. And from what I understand, farmers are still broke. So I'm like, government, where that money going? You need to pay the tax. You need to pay the farmers. Every farmer in America should have a farmer's card. If you a legit farmer, because they told some they don't have, the young people don't want to be farmers. You gotta give people incentives to want to be a farmer. I mean, I would work on a farm. I wouldn't mind. But I'm just saying, people, they need an incentive to do this stuff. They need an incentive, and a lot of young people don't want to do it. So you know what they need to do? Every farmer, if you can confirm that you're a farmer, you should have what they call, you get it registered with the government. It'd be a farmer card. And when you have a farmer card, whenever you buy anything that is considered produce, corn, tomatoes, potatoes, whatever, yams, potatoes, tomatoes, that song. Yeah. That's a funny song. Okay, I don't want no copyright strikes. That's a song. I did not make it. That is a song I heard from someone, some meme. But anyways, no. Every person should have. Every farmer should have a farmer's card. And when they go through the line and they buy fruit, vegetables, whatever like that, they should not be taxed for it. Not taxed at all. Then people gonna say, "You ain't got to pay taxes on that." Mm-mm. Why? I'm a farmer. Oh, you know what? I might be a farmer. You see how that works? You see how the human mind works? Anyways, I believe if I was president, this all this crap would be fixed. I can't say that because we have a house, we got the Congress, and we got all that stuff. That you know all that would be gone. Now, viewer discretion advised. If you are weak-minded, if you're super left, or you have fragile ego, you need to leave or skip forward or something, because I'm going to talk about this for a second. I don't care about your body, your choice. I don't care. Now, hear me out. I don't care. You know why I don't care? I'm going to tell you why I don't care. I don't care because most of the women that are getting abortions are whores. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Most of the women that are getting abortions are women that want to sleep around with 30, 40, 50 dudes and not have kids because they don't want to be tied down with a child. You don't believe me? Just ask any run-of-the-mill woman you see walking down the street, what is her body count? I got quiet because I want you to think about that for a second. What is normal body count now? I don't even know. They got motherfuckers screwing at 15, 13, 12, 11, 10. They got motherfuckers out here screwing babies, you know. No, I don't. What I'm saying, I don't literally mean Google Gaga baby. I'm talking about you got little kids like 7 and 8 years old. I consider them babies. They're not babies, but I'm old school black. You under 13, you a baby. You know you a little you ain't you a kid. You know you a little kid. You under 13, you a little kid. That's how I consider it. They got little kids out here, 7 and 8 years old. They screwing each other. I'm thinking, what are you doing? You a little kid. You over there touching little Susie's twat, and you over there yanking on little Billy's string or spring. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know, and I'm like, so, I mean, I'm going somewhere. I'm sorry I'm going into this, but like, seriously, I will make abortion only available for women that are too young, under a certain age. If you're under the age of 15 and you get like a girl that's 14, 13, can a girl 13 get pregnant? Well, whenever her period hits, I don't know. But anyways, if she's under, I'm gonna say if she's under 16, you know what? No, 18, because legally you're an adult. If a young lady is under 18, automatically she has to get a divorce. I mean, I said divorce, an abortion. I'm sorry, not divorce, an abortion. If you're under 18, you have to automatically get an abortion. I don't care. They'd be like, well, what if she wants to have... No. Unless you can prove to the courts that you're working and you can sustain a child, then yes. But if you're under 18, then you're eligible for an abortion. Now, once you turn 18, I'd say 18 to 22. You can still get an abortion if you're not ready to have a child and you just made a dumb mistake. That would allow it up to 22. But you will have to actually sit down and talk and say, okay, all right, what are you doing? Why did you do this? Are you planning on getting married? No? Okay, well, I'm sorry, we're going to have to abort the baby unless you're going to actually be married. Then, after you get to past the 22 line, no more abortion. No more. Unless that baby is going to threaten your life. Then, abortion. Yep. It's mosquitoes. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. This office is supposed to be vacant. Ain't nobody supposed to be out here. So, yeah, it's location 0052. Ain't nobody supposed to be out here. But anyways, sorry about that. Yeah. So, like 22 and beyond, no abortion. Sorry. That right there would eliminate a lot of crap because, you know, you get all these women out here. They just want to sleep around with 20, 30, 40, 50 guys. No, that's not going to happen. Nope. And another thing I would do is this. If a woman is not married and she wants to just keep having kids, that ain't gonna happen. What we're gonna do is you're allowed up to you're allowed up to 4 kids without being married. If a woman has 4 kids, by law, she will have to go up and get her tubes tied, get them suckers snipped. She won't be able to have any more kids. People say, well, that's unfair. No, 4 kids, you have to get married, okay? Because that'll be the law. And I know women are going to hate this, but I'm trying to eliminate the whores. I'm trying to get rid of them because they're literally ruining this society. Because you got women that don't want to be faithful to a man, and you got men out here that just want to whore around. If you get rid of the whores, the men and the women, they're going to go like that. Well, when I say the men and the women are going to go like that, the guys that just want to sleep with whores, there ain't going to be no whores left. And the women that want to be whores, it's going to be so unbeneficial. They're going to be like, you know what, I don't even want to do it. So, yep. And yep, I think that's fair enough, because you got women out here, they got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids, ain't never been married, and they just collect the child support. I'm like, no, because you're going to raise an entire generation that doesn't know how to do anything. They don't even know who their father is. Like, no, 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 nope. Now, there will be subsidiaries and clauses in this type of law, because now there is a couple of loopholes, and there's a couple of leniencies to the situation. Now, if you have a woman and a man, and they've been living together for X amount of years, and they have 4 kids together, and they end up having 5 kids, but they've been living together, they're not married, I think the law should pass from them, because they're actually taking care of the kids, you know. They're not bound by marriage, but they're taking care of the kids. The man is doing his part, the woman's doing her part, and they're making it happen. That, in that case, you know, you're not married, but you still have proof that y'all are together. Yeah, that'll kind of pass by them. But that's kind of a slippery slope, because then you have people that might be trying to register that, because then you're going to be like, well, how can you monitor that? Well, you got cell phones, you got satellites, you got people spying on people. Why not? You just spy on them and see how often is the guy there. Follow them around. I mean, they do it anyways. Got people following people around and stuff. They do that all the time. Yeah, just stuff like that, you know. And I think that should be a law. And another thing, I know you're saying, oh, you're just making this about women. I'm coming for the guys too. If you're a man, and same thing, if you have more than 4 kids and you're not married, your shiznit gets snipped. Yep. You ain't gonna have no more. You not have you, unless you've been the same way. Unless you've been with a woman for 4 years, and you've been with the same woman for 4 years, and you have 4 kids with the same woman. There you go. Yep. So it'll be basically on blood type. I mean, you know, if those kids are related. Like, if the woman has 4 kids, she's not married, but all 4 of the kids are by the same guy, and it's biologically proven, then that law will pass by them and say, okay, well, they've been faithful to each other. You know what I mean? But then she go and have it with another guy, that basically just makes the whole law like, okay, now you're doing something else. What you doing? You know what I mean? So yeah, that law will basically counteract with that, you know. So yeah. Yeah, but the guy, same thing. You have more than 4 kids, you never been married, to snip, 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 you know. So yep. Another thing that I would change, if this is all speculation, if I was president. Now, none of this would probably go through, but if I was president, just, you know. Another thing, DNA tests for children will be mandatory at birth. Don't care, no exceptions. No exceptions. Child is born, DNA test. Find out who the father is. That should be mandatory. Because you got guys out here paying child support for kids that ain't theirs. That'll fix that problem. And that'll fix the women that like to cheat. That'll fix them too. Keep they suckers in their pants, you know what I'm saying? Yes, the sucker sweet, tastes good, but keep it in your pants. And okay, moving right along. Another thing I would make law is they would not charge you income taxes anymore. Or if they did, you would only have to pay like how they do it with the 2290, and the truck drivers have to pay a set rate. Everybody pays the same rate. $600 was $550, roughly $600 a year. There you go. That's a lot of money. This is how I think they should do it. Every American citizen, if you working and you make more than $10,000 a year, you'll be required by law to pay $1,000 in taxes every year. And when I said, people say $1,000, that's a lot of money. You have 365 days to pay $999.01. That's $1,000. You have a whole year to pay $1,000. So you can pay $5. You can pay $10 for 12 months. What is that? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Yeah, that's actually that's just 100. But yeah, that's 10 now, 10, 10. Yeah, but like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That would be $100 every. Yeah. Well, you know what? If you did $10 a week, so that fit like 50 weeks in a year or something like that. It's 12 months in a year, 60. I think it's 50 or 60 weeks in a year, something like that. And there's 365 days in a year. Yeah, I mean they'll have a way to calculate it. It won't be a whole lot of money. People are, well, I got no money now. But look, check it out. If you're only paying $1,000 a year, I think that's reasonable. Some people, well, you got it. Well, then you need to learn how to get it, because if you working and you making more than $10,000 a year, you can pay $1,000 a year. You can do that. Yeah. And people say, well, I don't like that. I think that's fair, because that'll keep like business people like myself that'll keep us from having to pay 20 and 30 and 40, $50,000 in taxes. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's just utterly stupid. You know. I still owe like $2,000 from last year, paying that off. But it's crazy. Just crazy stuff, man. I don't know. I'm just getting sick of this. Just everything is just messed up. But yeah, America's is just a total dumpster fire, man. America's just a trash heap, bro. Yeah. But yep. I don't know at this point. I just don't know. Yep. Just don't understand. Everything we try to do is just always messed up, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of more things, but I don't know how much more stuff on the list. But another thing I would make legal if I was president: prostitution would be legal. It would be 100% legal. Yep. People say, "Oh, this is sex trafficking." No, it's not, because if a woman is willing to sell her body, then hey, what's the problem? There's nothing wrong. Now, this is how. See, people think when it's something illegal, like they think, prostitution being illegal, they're thinking, oh, it's bad. But actually, it would be better if it was legal, because then you could have the government maintaining it. You would have, how you got the pimps and stuff running the women and stuff. The government would be the pimp, and they would just take them guys and push them on the side. And basically, they say either you can work for us or you can get on out our face. And basically, what will happen is these guys will be kind of like bodyguards. They will be around when the guys would need to, get their rocks off and stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this will happen. And this is the thing, because you got a lot of women that want to be whores, right? They want to be prostitutes and stuff like that. So, okay. Now, this is a one-way street, because if you, Miss Betty, or whatever your name is, you want to be a prostitute legally, you have to get your tubes snipped. You cannot be pregnant, and that's part of the clause, because you don't want a prostitute having children and they have to grow up in a whorehouse. You don't want that. You really don't want that. It's not good for business. So a woman has to make up in her adult mind. See, this is the problem we have in society. Our society basically thinks that women can't think for themselves, and I absolutely hate it. I detest it when women do stuff wrong and men are blamed for it. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. If she's an adult woman, she has full responsibility for her actions. I don't care how old she is. I don't care how pretty she looks. She has full responsibility. Well, if she's an adult, she has full responsibility of her actions. Yes. Full responsibility. Yep. Sorry, I was thinking about something. I thought I heard something else too, and I was thinking about something. Um, yeah, she has full responsibility for her actions. Yep. And I'm thinking that these are reasonable requests. I know there's a lot of people that'll disagree with me, but I think all of these requests are reasonable. I think they're 100% reasonable. Mm-hmm. Yep. And kind of switching gears here. One thing I don't understand. Yes, I've been dating a young lady. I've been talking to her and stuff like that. I know all of you have probably been dying to hear more information, and I've actually been putting it off for a while because I wanted to make sure I understood what was happening. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that women are overrated. And I say that with no disrespect to the ladies, but women are overrated. They're way overrated. I'm gonna tell you why. Yes, I have a woman that really likes me and she's really into me and I'm really into her. But the problem is I've already taken the black pill. I've already taken the red pill. And she's somewhat leaning left and she has feminist roots. She swears she's not a feminist, but I know a feminist when I see one, or one that has feminist ideology. I don't understand. Why does she think this is okay? She thinks that it's okay for a woman to sit and absolutely do nothing and for the man to take care of her. She thinks that's totally fine. She works barely. Sometimes she works when she feels like it, and she'll work for a little bit and take a break, and then she complains about her not having money. I'm like, why do you not have any money? Oh, well, working is hard. I'm like, yes, working is hard. Interesting. Yeah. Lovely, but if you complain about money, you need to work. You know. And people may say, well, that's your woman. You're supposed to help her. You're supposed to take care of her. Yeah, I get it. But I'm not going to let someone take advantage of me either. When I first met her, she was living with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend. She moved out. I helped her get money for storage. I helped her find a place because she would have been homeless. I helped her get the place, and I paid her rent for maybe a month or two. So when is there going to be a point when she realizes, hey, I'm an adult. I gotta start doing this stuff myself? At what point does she realize that? Because she hasn't realized it yet. She got a boyfriend to take care of her. He really likes her. Yeah, but I don't want a woman that's not going to do anything. See, a lot of old school cats say, well, that's your woman. You're supposed to take care of her, bro. Let me tell you something. When has that ever worked in the modern era? In the modern era, when has that ever worked? I'm listening. Because as far as I'm concerned, that don't work in 2025. It might have worked in 1925, but it don't work in 2025. It don't work. But tell you why it don't work. Whenever you get a woman, all she does all day long is sit at home and do nothing but eat food and watch TV. You know what happens? She gets fat, lazy, unmotivated, and she wants to screw everything that's moving, except for you. She gets bored. She wants to sleep with the mailman. She gets bored. She wants to sleep with the plumber. She gets bored. She wants to sleep with the next door neighbor. And you know what? These men are so greedy and so thirsty they will sleep with her. They don't even care if that's your wife. These guys are so low down. They're so thirsty. They will sleep with anybody. Don't even care if they're married or not. And that's the thing that really gets under my skin on both parties, men and women. You got guys out here that have been struggling to get a woman their entire freaking life. And you get a guy out here and the guy that been struggling his whole life to get a woman, he finally gets a woman. You get this bozo, this doggone, he gets every woman within a 5 mile radius. He want what you got. So you know what he do? He tries to take what you got. He tries everything he can to sweet talk your wife and to sleeping with her. And you know, the modern woman, if she ain't working, if she ain't doing nothing for herself, she gonna be sitting around at home, bored as usual, and she gonna say, you know what? I wonder is his tool better than my husband's tool. You know what's gonna happen? She gonna sleep with him instead of you. And then you wanna know why some guys end up in dead bedrooms? It's cause she's screwing somebody else. I hate to say it, but she's screwing somebody else. All of a sudden, she ain't got no sex drive. All of a sudden, either her estrogen is gone or she's screwing somebody else. Or she's not attracted to you no more. And she's still screwing somebody else. And or she's screwing somebody else. Because sometimes you got some women that don't screw anymore and they're actually faithful. But they just don't want to, I don't know what they got going on. But yeah. Sorry, we got an infestation of ants everywhere. They've been literally plaguing the entire everything. But yeah. So that's why I don't agree with that, because you got these women out here that want to just sleep around and stuff, and I'm like, no. That, like I said, these laws that I would put in place would eliminate women trying to be whores, and no, you can't do that. Nope. Hang on a sec. I got to drink some more water. Yep. See, I need a woman that can actually help me. This woman can't help me. She has no money. She has no car. She has no license. She has nothing. The only thing, like my pickup truck, the fuel pump went on my pickup truck. I'm still working on my big truck. Literally everything I have is breaking down. Everything is just going, dumpster fire. Everything is like, whatever. So at this point, I'm just like, that's crazy. If she had a car, if she had money, she could come pick me up and take me home. But she can't do that because she has no car. I don't even know if she wants to get a license. I don't think she wants anything out of life. All she wants is to get married, have a husband, have a man take care of her. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't take care of you. That's not going to happen. So you know what I did? I wanted to test the waters because she's always like treating me like, like I'm her piggy bank. So I told her, I said, you know what? I've been working. I've been working all my life. I've been working ever since I was 19 years old. And I have hardly anything to show for it. I don't have a house. I don't have a wife. I don't have any kids. I don't have anything. And I was like, you know what? I feel like working is just overrated. I told her, I said, you know what? I said, I should just doggone be a bum and not work anymore. I said, I should just sell everything I own and just be a bum. And you know what? She got so surprised and she was all like freaking out and stuff like that. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But I just did that on purpose to see what she would say. Because I don't even know if she respects me as a person. So I know some of you might be like what I said earlier, like, you said that women are overrated. Yes, I'm being honest. Yes, I got the cat. Yes, we bumped the grind. I got me some poutine. And was it good? It was excellent. It was amazing. I mean, I made her come twice. Yes. And she was like, wow. She said, I'm surprised that you haven't had a lot of sex. She said, cause you was flinging that thing. I said, yeah, gotta do what I gotta do. But see, women don't know that. They just automatically assume I don't. That, oh, you short, you this, you that, oh, But yeah, I was doing pretty good. And then afterwards, I guess she claimed that I wasn't all that great. I said, but you came twice. I had to be doing something right, and you was wet as a dog on could Lord have mercy. So yeah, something had to happen. But I'm not going to go into too many details because I don't know. I don't want this video to get a strike. It probably already got a strike for some of the stuff I said earlier. But anyways, I digress. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know, man. I'm just at this point. I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. So I don't know. It just feels like life in of itself is just not worth it. I'm not saying giving up, like dying and offing myself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the rat race, the working, the trying to provide, and it doesn't feel like it's really worth it anymore because it feels like the government's just using us as pawns just so they can just knock us in the water or just all right, your time is up. All right, you've been alive long enough. All right, just smash you like you're an ant or something. All right, your time's up. Get out of here. You know what I mean? And it's like that's not fair. That's really not fair for like the situation. That's really not fair. And that's where the government is. That's the type of life we live. And it's like the government don't really care. They really don't care about the general person. You know why I know they don't really care about the general person? Because just look at the military personnel. Just look at the government agencies. Just look at the government workers. Just look at the veterans. Why are there homeless veterans? If the government cares about the American people, why are there homeless veterans? Why do we have homelessness in America? How come if you have a restaurant and you have food left over that's not actually bad, it's just left over because nobody ate it, why do you have to by law throw it away? Why can't you give it to homeless people? Why is that a law that you can't do that? I mean, I'd rather them getting sick from eating my food than them dying of starvation and sitting in the back of my store and I have a restaurant that sells food. That makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense at all. You know? Makes no sense. Hmm. No, it don't make no kind of sense. You know? Why is that a law? That don't make sense. That shouldn't even be a law. That's stupid. Why is that a law? Why if you have a restaurant and you got food that's left over, why do you have to throw it away and you can't give it to a homeless person? If the dude's sitting right outside the store. I don't understand that. Makes no sense to me. Why in California quote unquote makes the most revenue out of all the people that live there because they got a lot of stars and movie stars that live there. You got all this money flowing there, but they got the highest homeless population in the entire United States. That don't make sense. You got millionaires and billionaires living in California that's like movie stars or ex movie stars, and yet you got the highest homeless population in America. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. That makes absolutely no sense at all. Once again, the government doesn't care about the people. Why is there homeless veterans? They say, oh, it's a mindset. If it's a mindset, why they ain't getting them off the street and putting them in rehabilitation? No, it's because they're not choosing to go. What do you mean they're not choosing to go? They're government property or was government property. Oh, that's right. The government throws away stuff that has no more use. You don't believe me? What do they do with the military surplus vehicles? They claim it's multi-fuel vehicles that can take multi-fuel, and they'll dump JP5 and JP8 in the fuel tank. Say, oh, it runs on it just fine. It runs on it just fine. Yes, it does run on it just fine, but it destroys the engine by the time it sells it to civilians. It's designed to run on that. Look, let me tell you something. I've been working on diesel engines for a long time. Let me tell you something. JP5 and JP8, they're too dry to be run in the diesel engine unless you run it high RPMs all the time with additives. If you don't put additives in it, you're kind of running a risk. But I notice most of the military surplus vehicles, when they retire them, their engines are about shot because they've been putting straight JP5 and JP8 in there. It's been burning up the rings and the piston cylinders and stuff. You don't believe me? Get you an engine get a military vehicle and check for blow-by. Most of them have blow-by. You don't know what that is? Go look it up. I'm not going to make a whole video about it because it's going to take me a while to explain it. But basically, you just got oil burning through the piston rings. Or the piston rings are just like you got the cylinder here. The piston piston isn't really making isn't making the proper contact inside the ring, inside the cylinder, to scrape the oil back down into the oil pan, into the sump. Instead, what's happening is as the piston goes down, there's oil inside the cylinder combustion chamber. As the piston comes back up, it burns the oil with the fuel. That happens very common in diesel fuel engines because they run a lot hotter than gasoline engines. Anyway, I digress. It's more of a kinetic style engine. It runs off of its own heat, and it creates kinetic energy off of its own heat. Anyway, I digress. But seriously, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, actually, this next part I can't say. I worked on government ships, but I can't say that. If I say that, they're gonna delete my channel again. But cause I actually said it before and I got a strike. But I can't say this. But all I'm gonna say is this: the government throws a lot of stuff away. They're not supposed to, but they do. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna go into detail. I've seen it with my own eyes, but I'm not gonna go into detail because I could get in trouble because this is not supposed to be common knowledge. There's a lot of stuff I know that I keep my mouth shut about. That's why I act silly and goofy and stuff, because I want everybody to think I'm stupid, so they'll leave me the freak alone. But I probably am stupid. Who knows? Anyways, I don't even know. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, the government throws away a lot of stuff, and if it throws away a lot of stuff, what do you think it does to the people? There you go. It throws them away too. Don't believe me? Why did all those government people that work for the government lost their job? They got people that have been working for the government for 20 years and they lost their job. Now you got people homeless in Washington. They outside and they're telling people to get the hell out of the way. What's up with that? What's up with that one? The government is for the people. Why are they letting the people starve to death? Why are they letting people, what's going on with that? Why do we have to buy land? Why do we have to buy a patch of land with nothing on it? Well, it's owned by the city. It's owned by the state. They ain't doing nothing with it. Why do they need it? They doing a damn thing with it. They just letting it sit there and let the grass and the trees grow. They ain't doing nothing with it. Oh, I get it. They're hiding something in the woods. Okay, that makes sense. Has to be. You don't believe me? Okay, you don't believe me? All right. I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say this, okay? If you don't believe me, look up Trinkle. I think it's Trinkle or Trickle Street in Virginia. Look that street up and I want you, if you live in Virginia, okay, all right. Now, this is going to be some conspiracy stuff, but if you live in Virginia, for some reason, there's some land for sale on Trickle Street. But I want you to go to Trickle Street. I want you to try to go there. I want you to physically try to drive to Trickle Street. And I want you to come back in the comment section and tell me, what did you find? I want you to do that. Because I can tell you, but you're not going to believe it. I want you to go there, and I want you to physically go to that street, or attempt to go to that street, and see what happens. Okay, some of you aren't going to do it. I know. All right, well, I'm going to tell you. That particular part of land is considered government natural forestry or something that the guy was telling me. He said that land is not supposed to be sold. I said, well, then why are they selling the land? He said that street is not supposed to be accessible. And I said, oh. He said, what do you mean, oh? I was like, huh. I went out there and I saw no trespassing, and I saw barbed wire on some land that was nothing on it. Nothing but trees. So you know what I did? Parked around the corner and I walked it. I walked it in the day and I walked it at night. Both times when I walked it, I felt like somebody was watching me. There was no houses out there except for down on the next street over. No houses out there, okay? No houses out there. Why Were there no houses out there? And why did they say that they cannot develop that area up anymore? You don't believe me? I want you to drive out there and try to get to that street. And if you can't get to that street, when you get to, I think it's called Athens Street or Athena Street, I want you to make a left on Athena Street. I want you to go all the way to the end of that street. I don't want you to tell me what you see. You're going to see some houses. When you see those houses, tell me what you see. Because when I went down there, I tried to flag one of them down to say, hey, look, can you tell me to get to Trinkle Street? Because there's a lady, she was outside. I said, can you tell me to get to Trinkle Street? She said, she heard it walk back in the house. I was like, that's not a normal response. Because I asked her, hey, how you doing? She said, hey, how you doing? And I asked her how to get to Trickle Street. She turned around and walked back in the house. Didn't say a word. That's not a normal response to someone asking where a street is. That's not a normal response. So that's my experience with them hiding stuff in the government. I mean, the government hiding stuff in the woods. There's a lot of questions out here. They'll let you sleep under a bridge. They'll let you sleep on a park bench. They'll let you sleep on a sidewalk. They'll let you sleep on the street. But you try to go put a tent in the random part of the woods, I tell you, you got to pack up and leave. Does that make sense? Because it don't make sense to me. I'm like, why? You literally will let somebody live under a bridge. They could get hit by a car. But yet you won't let them live in the woods. The worst that could happen is they get stampeded by a deer or attacked by a bear. Somebody, I told one of my government buddies about it. He said, well, of course, that makes sense because people will start a fire and burn the whole woods down. I'm like, bro, do you not know park rangers will not allow that? They have plenty of means to get that fire under control. He's like, no, they don't. I said, yes, they do. He said, well, they got those wildfires in California. I said, bro, those are all intentional. He said, no. I said, bro, all them fires you saw in California, all that was intentional. The government did that. That is all government stuff. They did that. They did it and made it look like it was fake. Yeah. How can you tell me all those rich folks lost some houses right there? How can you tell me that? Why do you think all them mudslides was happening in Texas? All them people died and stuff in Texas. They were looking for something. They said that they had oil in that area. But they had houses. They can't get the people out of there because it's residential. Can't do no commercial work in the residential. So you know what you did? You leveled the whole motherfucker off and you got no choice but to make it commercial because ain't no cars, ain't no houses out there. As soon as there's some kind of catastrophic event, you automatically have to take the residential and make it commercial because it's uninhabitable at that point. So once it becomes commercial, they sell it back over to the government. They make it commercial. They can build whatever they want right there. Or do whatever they want right there. See how that works? I know I haven't been talking about a lot of dating stuff, but I apologize. It's just, I don't know. I was just thinking about some different things and different topics today. And just trying to fix some things. I had to take a break a little bit because I was frustrated working on my truck. I had to take a break and come back. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I was thinking. Actually, my brain just kind of went because I just thought about something. I got to lock warehouse number 3. Oh God, I didn't lock warehouse number 3. Okay, I gotta cut this video short because I got some more paperwork I gotta do in the office, and then I gotta shut warehouse number 3, and then we're gonna, well, you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, yeah, I gotta go, y'all. So, all right, peace, deuces. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section, and let me know what you think. All right, bye. I gotta go. Peace.